Fabulous news, everyone! So the new update is now out on Windows, which means that I believe that every platform should now have access to the new update. On top of us getting the new update, we do have the full schedule for next week, and we know that the upcoming Dragon of the Week is going to be the Epic Mentor Dragon, as you can see him right here. I do have to say that he is one of the cooler looking dragons. You know, he's got a mighty beard, a mighty set of eyebrows. I really like this dragon overall, but you know, the only problem I really have with this update is if I check in my collections, we know that Leo and the Singularity dragons are the two dragons in these collections. It's just if you click on them, they're just big question marks. You know, we've already seen them, I just want to see them animated in game. Is that too much to ask? Like, come on, I would love it. But anyway, aside from that, like I said, we do have next week's schedule here. We have the Mentor Dragons breeding combo, and on top of that, we do have the images for 2 of the brand new dragons that we are going to see in the Divine Chest tomorrow. Because do not forget that we've got the Divine event coming tomorrow. Not a long way away now. But regardless, let's start off with next week's schedule. So that is June 3rd to the 10th. So Andrew's posted, hello, HIYA here again with news about the upcoming events. So June 3rd to the 7th we've got our Clan Siege, that's not too interesting or impressive. 3rd to the 7th a Crowded Nursery, and then June 3rd to the 10th we have a new dragon in the dungeon. So there's a chance to win the Jinqui dragon in the dungeon for a week. I always call it Jinqui, alright? I'm always gonna call it that. Jinqui. But regardless, this dragon has been available a couple of times before, but for anyone that never managed to get him, you will have a chance to get him in the dungeon. So, you know, best of luck with that, because dungeon dragons never seem to pop up for me, ever. But then we've got June 7th to the 10th is a golden opportunity, and then the one that probably most people are going to be looking forward to is June 3rd to the 10th, Divine Spirit! So race against the clock and complete numerous tests to win lots of Divine tickets, and the Bajau Gui Dragon. So that is another, I believe is an epic. I know it's been available in a past Divine event anyway, but we do have that, which is going to give us Divine tickets. They haven't said whether in the previous events like the Clan Siege, the Nursery, and the Golden Opportunity, whether we can get Divine tickets in them or not, but I would hope that we can. If not, you know, that sucks, but I'm sure that we'll get some special mini events in the week that will give us bonus things. And then they said that the weekly dragon is the Mentor, parents being Mud and Tornado. So again, I have been onto the forum post about this, and these are the full possible outcomes tables, and yes, the combination is indeed the uncommon Mud and the common Tornado dragon. So pretty simple for a breed, of course, like most dragons of the week. But the Mentor Dragon has a 24-hour breeding time, so a full day reduced to 19 hours, 12 minutes with VIP. So there's no shared breeding time. As soon as you see that 1-day breeding time, you know that you've got your hands on the Mentor. But do keep in mind that depending on what sort of special events we get and breeding, you might want to hold off on breeding for it if you really don't need it. Like, only breed the Dragons of the Week during special events if you really want them, is my general advice, because you don't want to start breeding a Dragon of the Week, get a long breeding time, and then screw yourself over in the events. That is like the worst thing that you can do. And so then moving on to what was written on the DML Facebook page earlier today, mainly about these Divine chests. In this image, you can see the Divine Island area, you can see the Chang Dragon, 2 new dragons, and Chrono Pangu on the right hand side. He is such a spiffing young fellow. I really am a fan of him. I just love his colours mainly. And you know, weird fact of the day, if you didn't know, apparently the Chrono Pangu dragon has 66 attack, which is lower than a lot of dragons, to say the least. 66 attack, but he has an insane amount of health, something like 288. So he's going to be an interesting dragon if you actually want to use it on a team. But regardless, these 2 new dragons, there's like a blue version of the red scale dragon, it looks like, and then we've got this creepy stone guy. And from the dragons that they have written on the right hand side, it says that in the Divine chest we've got the Chrono Pangu dragon, who's the new one, which we can see, and then the other 2 new dragons are called LILAC Horn and the Colossus. So my guess would be that the spooky guy on the right is the Colossus dragon, and the blue red scale dragon, the blue scale dragon, is actually the Lilac Horn dragon. And that would make sense, you know, Lilac, I guess, I guess, maybe, but those are my guesstimations for you based off of this image. And we can see that the divine chests are going to have a nice little green colour. Kind of like that. It's almost like fluorescent green. Is that to go along with Chrono Pangu? I don't know. But either way, that is what you have to look forward to tomorrow. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to immediately end up spending tons and tons and tons of cash. Because as soon as the divine events come out, people go crazy with how much they want to spend. But I'm going to say it to you again. I've already said it once before. But remember that, generally speaking, just purchasing the divine tickets outright isn't the best idea, because there are lots of ways to get them. And plus, you've got to remember that the divine chest is going to be available for the entire period. So, rather than you just immediately open up your game when the divine chest comes out and waste all of your money, instead, what I'd suggest for you to do would be to wait on some of the events, see how many tickets you actually end up getting, and then making your choices about what you want to do with them. Because it is not worth wasting all of your money for no reason just because the event has just started. If you really want to go for Chrono Pangu, then do it in as smart of a way as you possibly can. I mean, normally we rely on boss challenge events to give us a bunch of divine tickets. That is normally what we tend to do because they're really, really good for generating divine tickets. But we could get any sort of special events because, you know, there's no reason to assume that it's going to be exactly the same as last time. If they tell us that the divine chest works in the same way as last time, then, you know, we can believe that. But they have changed the drop pieces for the divines in the divine chest slightly this time. They could have changed any of the odds slightly. Literally anything could be different compared to the last Chrono Time Rift Divine event. So, we will go into it as if this is a brand new event, as if we've never seen it before, and rather than making assumptions about how it works, we'll see how it works on the day. And, you know, I'm sure people are going to be doing tons of testing. And plus, if Game Loft wants to release any stats in the meantime, I wouldn't mind it. But do be aware that they've always said that divine chest dragons are only expected to be gotten by premium currency players, as in people that are willing to spend quite a bit of money. That's what they've said about the previous divine chests in the past. So if you're wondering, as a free-to-play player, if you can get all of the divines that are coming out in the event, the answer to that from the previous events would be it's unlikely. If you were doing every single event, got every single divine ticket that you possibly could for free, it's unlikely. And that would be an understatement. It was incredibly unlikely that you could get any of the divines for free apart from the Castle Event Reward Dragon. Does that mean that you should just give up all hope and not bother with the event? Of course not. Because even if on average you're not expected to get it if you plan on doing the event for free, you still could. You could get all of the pieces for the Divine Chest Dragon, like in 3 chests. It could happen. Luck is a really strange thing, you know, people win the lottery. It's really, really unlikely that you're ever going to win the lottery, but it can happen. So rather than going into the event expecting that you're going to get a ton of divines and a ton of legendaries like the furnace dragon out of the chest, and instead of just assuming that you're not going to get anything instead, just go into it with an open mind. You know, expect that it is going to work the same as always, where it is luck based, so there's not a lot you can do to control it. But when you do get a good drop, maybe you get VIP tickets, maybe you do get pieces for the Furnace Dragon, maybe you get tons of pieces for the Chang Dragon. Whatever it might be, when that happens, just think, hey, that was pretty good. That's the best way to, you know, enjoy a little bit of RNG without getting addicted to it, if you know what I'm saying. Because nothing worse than wasting a ton of money on an event like this and getting nothing out of it, because instead of just accepting when you'd reached the limit for what you should have done, you just start spending like crazy. That is not how you should approach these types of events. Especially if you're someone that doesn't have a ton of random money that you can spend on whatever you want. You know, you gotta think about these things well in advance. But, you know, one extra thing that I don't remember if I mentioned is that with the new update, we did get a couple of UI changes, I believe. Main one that I've noticed is that the farms are slightly different. Like, if you see the food now, it says harvest in 1 hour, harvest in 2 days. It just looks slightly different, I think. Which is, I don't mind it. Oh my god, I just put in the wrong food. I wasn't looking. God damn it. Well, that sucks. Don't do that. Don't do what I do. I wanted to put in the spring cherries. Why did I click the wrong one? You know, this is just one of those brain fart moments where you think you're about to do something, then you do something completely different to what you were looking at. Yep. Haha, very funny. All of your farms are stuck at 2 days now. Very funny, quacks. Oh god, I had to do it right before the divine event came out, didn't I? Bloody typical. Well, anyway, I guess pay attention when you're putting stuff in your farms. Again, it's not always a good idea to breed legendaries in that while we have these events on. It's not a good idea to put in long food farms. I never use this food anyway. This has just annoyed me royally. And, apart from that, just make sure that you've got everything that you have at your disposal so that you can absolutely wreck all of these events. But this is probably going to be the last time I'm going to check in before the events actually come out. So for now, very best of luck, get prepped, and until next time, I'll see you then.